Hey there. Welcome to the Oklahoma On Stage podcast. Come on in and sit a spell. We're going to talk a bit about some theater folk and the magic they're making. If you like what we're doing, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and you can find our website at oklahomaonstage.org. Got any questions for us or want to give us an idea or two? Reach out to us at oklahomaonstage@gmail.com. Hope you enjoy your time with us. This here's going to be hotter than a firecracker on the 4th of July. So sit on back, grab a drink, because this show's about to start.
Welcome back, everybody, to Oklahoma On Stage. As always, I'm Tim, your host. Today, we are sitting at a very picturesque ranch, looking out over a widespread Oklahoma scene here in southern Oklahoma, just outside of Sulphur, where community theater has long been a lifeline for creativity, connection, courage. There's a new spotlight shining. And at the center of it is a woman whose passion for the arts has shaped families, friendships, and futures. From an unexpected audition to becoming a driving force in Oklahoma theater, she's built a legacy of storytelling, mentorship, and community. As the founder and president of Spotlight Playhouse Theater, she's creating a home where performers of all ages can grow, collaborate, and discover their voice. Today, we sit down and talk about her journey, her mission, and the bright future she's building for Southern Oklahoma's theater community. Oklahoma On Stage family, please join me in welcoming Angel Willis to the podcast. Angel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, as we always do, this is theater, and so we always have to start from the beginning. How did that theater bug first bite you?
I got rope-a-doped. I mean, let's just be honest here. I got a rope-a-dope. So I had a good friend of mine by the name of Fred Collins in Ardmore. He was getting ready to direct a show called Anatomy of a Murder. And it's a unique situation. He was an attorney and, in fact, a former district attorney in Ardmore, Oklahoma. And so here he is doing this show about a murder trial. And he had told me that they just were really struggling. They didn't have enough females to read an audition so that these men could also audition and read. So he said, well, I just need you to come down here. You just sit in the chair over here, and I just want you to read the script. Just read the girl's part, and so that these guys can audition. Well, as we all know, that was an absolute bull-faced lie. That's never the problem. It's the other way around. Well, I did not know this. I did not.
So you
know
fell
this.
into the sucker across the forehead.
Complete sucker. And I just sat there and I read, and I thought, well, I mean, I can read, so here we go. But I didn't feel any pressure because I didn't think anybody was looking at me or anything. And then after the show, he said, or after auditions, he said, who do you think? What did you, and I said, listen, I have my ideas of who I think you're going to cast. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to put the cast list on the door tomorrow, probably around noon. You need to try by and look at it. And so the next day he calls me up and he said, hey, did you go back and look at the stage door and see who the cast was? And I said, no, I haven't made it there yet. And he said, I'm going to tell you, go right now. And so I did. And I pulled up and I was just so curious to see if I had it right of who he ended up casting. And I'm reading. And I'm like, wait a minute. My name's on this list. I'm Detective Durgo. But that's a guy's part. And why am I on there? I didn't audition. And so I called him and I was like, what just happened? And he said, I knew that you would panic and you would convince yourself not to do this show, just out of fear of auditioning, doing something you hadn't done. And I knew you would be good at it. So I had to trick you. So please tell me you're going to be in this show. And I was like, well, now I have to, because you put it on the door and everybody's seen it. So I can't not now.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And then fast forward, I remember sitting there getting ready. Anatomy of a Murder was done a little uniquely in that we didn't really have the fourth wall. So my very first experience with theater, I am lights up looking at people in the audience. And again, not really understanding that that isn't a typical common thing to happen. Um, so I'm sitting there waiting to go on and I whispered to the actress in front of me, and said, "Oh, I'm really nervous." And she's like, "Oh, that's very common. Everybody, it's okay. It's going to be fine." And then we get called up. So the galley is of course where all the audience is sitting. And so we're coming up to testify. And we walk up on stage and you take your seat, you look out there, and I had this calm that came over me. My stomach wasn't doing flip flops. I didn't have the buzz or the hum in my ears, anything. It was just an absolute peaceful calm. And I just, I just knew that was it. Before I even opened my mouth, I was done. That was it. I was hooked. And there was no going back. So the very next show was Social Security, directed by John Pryor. And he said, "You should audition." And I thought, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a small cast, but, I now want to know what it's like to really audition because I hadn't in my mind. And I got out there and I said, "Okay, what do you do with an audition? Like, do I need to prepare something? I mean, am I supposed to come in costume? Like, I don't know." And he said, "No," he said, "You just show up. I'll give you a cutting. You're going to stand up there. You're going to read it and put a little inflection in your voice. Just act like you're alive. And give me what you got. Pretend you're this person. And how do you think this person would be?" And boy, I, I just sat there, I guess, in that particular scene, that little snippet of a scene, and looking around me, and I thought, there is no way I'm going to get cast in this small cast. But wow, what an exciting thing. And then lo and behold, landed the lead role. And then it was just done. It was just done.
The rest of it's history.
It is.
So you're originally from Central Illinois.
Yes.
What brought you to Oklahoma?
So, I was married, and my husband at the time took a job with Dot Foods, which we lived in Mount Sterling, Illinois, and we actually lived in the home that Dot Foods was started, where Dorothy raised all of her children. And when he was taking a promotion as a transportation manager, of course, we went to fly to different places and look at all these, different facilities and kind of decide what worked for us. And we come down to Ardmore, Oklahoma, and we flew into Gene Autry, and we had to circle around a couple of times because there were deer on the landing strip, and I had to go out and chase them off. And I thought, oh boy. And I grew up in a rural area farming community, but I hadn't seen anything quite like that. And we pulled into Ardmore, and I just knew, like, this is it. I mean, of all the places we went to, California, New York, everywhere, this was the closest to home that we had found. And I remember just driving through town and thinking, I could see raising my kids here. There was so much activity, and people were waving. And I remember walking into the gas station, and they're holding the door open, and it was like, "Have a good day." And I just thought, oh yeah, this is it. So I wasn't born here, but I really did get here just as fast as I could. And you could not, for all of the money in the world, all the opportunity in the world, I would never, ever leave. This is home. This is it. So I say that it was a unique, maybe happenstance that got me here, but it is certainly the people that have kept me. It's just, this is it. This is home.
That's cool. So you said your first role there, you were cast in a role that was written for a man. How do you think that shaped your confidence as an actress or your approach to acting?
I think I would say that, being cast in a male role definitely opened my eyes to the idea that you can do anything in theater. You know, I think the bigger part wasn't so much as the gender change, was breaking that fourth wall, looking at your audience in the eye. So when I started, I've known nothing else. So I don't get intimidated by the audience or seeing the audience, or if you happen to, you have to make eye contact with someone in the audience. If it happens, it doesn't trip me up. It doesn't slow me down. And in fact, if you ever have an opportunity to go and watch a show at the Goddard Center, which I highly recommend, it's absolutely stunning facility. When you're on stage, you'll see the exit lights above the door, and we always tell everybody, listen, don't get nervous, just focus on those exit lights, because that way you're looking above everybody's heads. If I do that, I get very nervous, absolutely nervous, and because my first experience is to look the audience in the eye. So when I'm looking off into the distance, I may actually be focusing on somebody. And part of it is I get to see their facial expressions and seeing that story really resonating with them, whether they're laughing or they're crying or they're in shock or whatever. And I know we're doing our job. We're doing it, and we're doing it well. And so it fuels me. Or if we're missing our mark a little bit, it lets me, I can tell that. And so I adjust a little bit. You always, I think, as an actor and actress, you feel your audience, and you know what they need. If something, let's say a joke is falling just a little bit flat, it. And so, to up the ante just a little bit.
Sure.
Or if it's too shocking, you know how to tone it down. And so I think that was probably the most unique and brilliant opportunity for me, in my mind, that I could have had in, my introduction to theater. So I'm really grateful that was the first show and how it was done, because I think it calmed me for the rest of my career in theater.
Yeah. So you've played everything from comedy to drama to classics.
Yes.
Which roles would you say changed you the most or impacted you the most?
I have several, for various reasons. I think we all do that. We'll do a show and we're like, that was my favorite show ever. And then the next show was like, that's my favorite show. And that's what we hope anyway. That's what you hope all of your actors and actresses feel, is that every show is their favorite for various reasons. But I have a couple of them. A Piece of My Heart, that one still sticks with me today, and it will probably stay with me for the rest of my life. I was slightly typecast in that show. I played Leanne, and she is an Italian / Asian woman of Oriental descent. They kind of leave it vague in there. I think they're trying to nod and say Vietnamese, but maybe there was a little bit. So for the time frame, and I definitely visually fit that bill. That one the story was incredible and so needed to have been told. And the way we came together as a cast, and we really genuinely felt it. I'm a very patriotic woman, to begin with. A long history of incredibly brave men and women in my family, who have defended our country and preserved our freedoms. So it really resonated. My father was in the Korean conflict and then on into Vietnam. And so the time frame was really precious, I think. And having conversations with my father's past, the cast came together, and it really, in every show, it seems like we create this family in theater. And there were so many hard stories within that show that needed to be told. The way we supported each other in telling that story, I think is probably one of my most memorable. 39 Steps, the comedic side, was my first comedy. I didn't think I could do it. I've always been the wall where, the funny bounces off. And I didn't think I had it in me. And the first time the audience laughed at me, I stopped for a minute and I was like, oh, okay, I'm funny. They liked it. And then yeah, it became almost a race within the cast to see who could outdo one another.
Of course. Yeah.
And we actually finally broke it. We absolutely broke. The audience broke. And it took us about 10 minutes of back and forth laughing. The play just stopped. And it was just absolutely hilarious. That one I think will always be one of my favorites, August Osage County. It was challenging. Again, you find yourself, I think, if you're in theater for any length of time, you do kind of start getting to that typecasting, if you will. But I think it's because those roles suit you as an actor. And so, I think that one, almost everybody in the cast was typecast. We pretty much were the person in that show. So, there was a lot of, oddly enough, healing that took place in that show because we had all, experienced the traumas that our characters were telling that story, and yet we'd experienced it in our own lives. So as a group, we kind of helped each other through that process of opening up old wounds, so there was a great healing that happened. The Laramie Project. That one was an intense, amazing opportunity. We had people that came in and said, you've changed my entire perspective. And I will never, ever again look at my fellow man, regardless of their sexuality, like I did before seeing this show. So I think, I hate saying that, but all of them all of them are my favorites. Whether I'm in the show myself or watching it, they're all my favorite.
Yeah.
And I want to see it again.
Yeah. I mean, there's just something about the theater that,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love movies, but they're nothing compared to the theater.
No.
So you're also a playwright.
Yes.
So what inspired you to write your own adaptation of A Christmas Carol?
My family. Growing up, I have my family is they're very loud, they're very boisterous, and gathering at Christmas, you could count on that. That we would all come together at Christmas, and it was truly was the best time. My family, we grew up in a household where 25 people are talking at once, and you just have to talk over each other if you want to be heard. And we're not going to slow down for you. Just jump in, dive in. They're all incredibly intelligent human beings. Many of them have actually been tested and are classified as genius. So you really had to work hard to be a part of a conversation. But Christmas, everybody came together and just kind of put their differences aside. They were a little bit more receptive. And everyone in my family loved Christmas Carol. They had their own favorite versions. And by golly, that's the best version ever done. My father's was George C. Scott and Alistair Sims, and my uncles, might have been Patrick Stewart, or but they could all sit around and we would recite the entirety of the story. And everybody had their own accents and all of that. And it was just a goofy time. And not necessarily typical of these individuals at any other point. And so Christmas really was magical and kind of central around that. I think as families back then, we would always watch, the traditional, we were going to watch this show and every year. And so when I look back on my childhood and my fondest memories, that's what it was. And I sat there and I thought, my family they're aging and we were losing family. And I just lost the spark of Christmas. And so I wanted to bring it back. And I knew other people were saying the same thing. So when I sat down to write it, I wanted to add a little twist to it. My own spin based on my childhood and things I had experienced. And so I sat down, and it took me about a year and a half. And I would pick up the pen, and then I put it back down. I'd pick up the pen and I put it back down. And then at one point, I had probably one of my my theater idols, I would say, Joel Wellnitz, who said, "Hey, how's it going on that?" And I realized, he wanted to see it, which was shocking to me, and was encouraging me to finish it. And then I thought, if somebody like Joel Wellnitz is interested, well, then I got to do it. Now the pressure's on. I can't let him down. I cannot let this man down. And so that was it. I just dove in and said, it's got to be done. I want to revive the feeling of family and closeness and community and caring for one another. And I don't know that you get much better than The Story of a Christmas Carol. And I watch it in June. So it's a great, lovely reminder. And so we actually produced it as a collaborative effort between Ardmore Little Theater and the Goddard Center in, I believe it was like 2017. And it was pretty good. I mean, it was a wonder. Every night was a wonder to get to see it. And then fast forward, and after, of course, we created Spotlight. Last year was the first year. And so we had been approached and asked to make it an annual event and grow the whole concept in Southern Oklahoma. And so I said, well, absolutely, say less.
Right. Yeah.
Ask a theater person to continue to do theater, say less.
Absolutely. So, as you just said, you started Spotlight Theater.
Yes.
When did you decide that I need to start my own thing?
I think there's always been versions of it, little bits here and there, in conjunction with other programs. And then I guess it was about 3.5 years ago, there were some changes happening within the theater that I was very active with, that I was frustrated. I was just frustrated. And I realized you can sit around and complain about it, or you can just roll up your sleeves and do it. And that's really, I think, the kick to put it all together, to bring it all under kind of one umbrella. I wanted to see people have the opportunity to do what was within their heart, what would bring them true joy in their lives. And I don't care if it's improv. I don't care if it's dinner theater, if it's musicals, whatever the case may be. I wanted there to be no limitations. And I realized that the only way that was really going to happen is if we just did it. And so I kind of, I guess, jumped into the deep end of the pool. And then kind of reached out to a few people that I knew had that same passion, and said, "Hey, you want to jump in with me? The water's great. It could be a lot better. And it will be if you get in." And they sure did. And so we've been steadily progressing over the last, I would say, 3.5 years, to get to where we are. We're still babies, but we're definitely excited and passionate.
So your mission that you put down is to cultivate a passion for the performing arts by producing high-quality theatrical experiences and offering safe educational programs that nurture creativity, confidence, and collaboration for all. And you coined this with as you said, an all-hands-on-deck approach. What does that mean?
So I'm a mother of 3 plus 2 bonus. But for many years I was a single mom. And the philosophy is that, listen, in order for this cruise ship to continue, everybody's got to take a turn swabbing the deck. That's how this thing is going to run. Nobody's on the cruise ship as just a passenger. And that's not how life works anyway. It just isn't. I mean, maybe for somebody, I don't know who, but no one I know. We all have to take a turn. And when we sat down and we were talking about this, I said, if you want people to be a part of something, the growth, the development, and the creation, one, you have to give them a seat at the table, and you have to give them something they're working for. And if you can combine those things, they'll do the things that you never even imagined they would do in order just to be a part of something that is as special as community theater. I don't have to ask. I don't ever have to ask anybody to, hey, would you jot down notes if we're in a meeting or something? Because, can you, hey, will you help me paint this? I don't even have to ask. Half the time I turn around and before I've even fully thought of what needed to be done, somebody's already doing it, just for the opportunity to be able to be a part of that family who supports one another and encourages each other, kind of shining the spotlight on each other. So it is an all hands on deck in every capacity, whether it's running it, whether it's promoting it, whether it's building something, whether it's, handing out programs, whatever the case may be, directing, stage managing, tech. If you want to do it, you want to try it, come on, we're going to let you, we're going to encourage you.
That's awesome. That's awesome because it doesn't always happen that way. So it's great that you have an organization, a program that you can do that. So what were some of the early challenges? I say early challenges, you guys are still in that stage, but of building a theater from scratch.
I think when you're starting to build that theater, the challenge that you have is the other theater programs around you sometimes will still hold on to that I say it's an archaic notion of being competition. Oh, here comes a new one. Oh, what are they doing? Oh, they're trying to oust us. And then the gossip starts, which I just can't stand. I'm a very direct person. If I don't like you, I'm going to let you know. But I don't sugarcoat it. I've also hit that age. I think menopause kicks in and, we're just like, here it is. Mostly because I just got to get those words out before the next hot flash kicks in. But I am a very direct person. I've learned that actually through theater and being on a board that is imperative to be direct and open and completely transparent. I struggle with that side of it, of saying, well, your competition or, another theater group is going to hurt what we're doing or take away from us. And I just don't believe that. And it hasn't actually ever proven to be correct. It's quite the opposite. I think that was, and still is a little bit. I think they're trying to figure out who we are and what we're doing. What are we doing in their neighborhood? And, what do you mean you want to play with our ball too? And, what kind of ball are you bringing? I think there's a little bit of that. You have to prove yourself. And I think, we've done several shows now. I think we've been able to do that very successfully. I think that was the biggest. I think the secondary challenge that we've had is for our members and I call them players. Come play with me. Come play. They're always shocked and saying, "What do you mean I get absolute say?" But they're shocked by it because so many theaters still hold to, a board of directors that they call the shots on everything. They're going to pick the shows, they're going to pick the directors, the stage managers, and all of that. And they don't really get a say in the shaping of it or the next, the direction the next season's going. And I think that was shocking for people of saying, wait a minute, you mean I get an actual equal say to the board president, even though I have just shown up 5 minutes ago? Well, absolutely. Absolutely. And in some cases, you should have a little more. I think for Spotlight, we of course shorten it all different ways, but Spotlight Playhouse, our board of directors, we are servants, and we are members, we are players, all of that. But as a board, we really, everyone on this board, and I have a dream board and the heavy hitters in Southern Oklahoma on that board. They have taken the philosophy of being the servant to our membership and our community very, very seriously. So I think that was the second shock, though, is that was going to be our approach. And I think we even had a few that until our bylaws came out and our mission statement, they were like, "Oh, there's gonna be a change here. There's something. There's a shoe that's gonna drop.
It's
This
gotta
was
be
too good." Yes.
Yeah.
And then once it came out, it was just like almost like giving them the keys to Disney. And they were like, "There's nothing we can't do now." Absolutely. There's
Should be.
nothing. Now,
That's the way it should be.
yeah, keep dreaming.
Yeah.
And then let me know what they are and let's make them happen.
Wow. I like the idea. So you said that the mission is to emphasize safety, collaboration, and creativity. Why were those so important to you?
So I think collaboration, obviously, for the reasons, we were just talking about, but theaters do so much better when we work together. I don't care if it's as simple as, hey, I really need, I need a vintage wheelchair and I don't have one and they're very expensive. But this group over here has one. Can I borrow this from you? Well, absolutely. And then in turn, I may need, I don't know, drywall stilts, because we're going to do the short cast version of Big Fish. And now I'm going to need them for this next production that I'm working on. And so our resources, are become limitless, which means that we can do better shows. We can do better quality shows, less expensive, hopefully, and continue to grow the arts in each one of our organizations. Advertising. I love getting to see what other theaters and other programs are doing, and the opportunity to go see shows that we aren't producing it. I want to go see it. I cannot wait, and I have several on my list for this next year that I cannot wait to go see. Collaboration is just going to be key. It just is. As human beings, we crave it. We need it. As entities, we absolutely must have it. The safety side of it, anytime that you have children, it is critical that you have developed safety procedures for them, as well as adults. Yes. We tend to always, maybe forget about that side of it too. As adults, we have to have these safety, but I'm very, very protective of our littles. They are our future, and I want them to feel comfortable to come and play, and I want them to know, as well as their parents, that this child's going to be safe.
Yeah.
No harm shall come to a single hair on a child's head while they're with our group.
Nice. Okay. So looking back at your first show, what worked, what didn't, and what surprised you?
For Spotlight, what the first show for Spotlight? Yeah. Okay. I think I have a hard time having the confidence within myself. I have no doubt what my actors and actresses can do. Zero. But I always want to make sure that I'm going to live up to what they're providing and that I'm able to serve them, at least get close to what they're putting out. I think one of the things I learned from the beginning is I want anyone who has ever had the notion to direct or stage manage or run sound or light to have the opportunity to do that. But there has to be a measure set up or a procedure set up or a plan in place for their success. My first time really directing a show for Spotlight, I threw an individual into a stage managing position who wanted to stage manage, and we hadn't really trained for it and prepared for it. And I learned very, very quickly that one of my biggest priorities was to always set someone up for success. Always. And that first show, I really didn't. I threw this individual in as a stage manager and took the want to do it as, oh, well, then you can do it for sure. Absolutely. Here you go. And I didn't give the proper tools. So we took that lesson and now we have shadowing programs. We're bringing in teachers to teach for stage managing, directing, tech, sound, light from really all over Oklahoma, Texas. That'll be coming and giving classes. So if you want to do it, absolutely. And I'm always going to be a big fan of that. If you have any desire whatsoever to direct or stage manage or to run sound and lights, which I have to tell you, I really am becoming more and more fascinated with that side of it. We want you to do it, but we want to set you up for success at every turn. We want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to be the best, and walk away from that experience and think, yeah, I did it. That was definitely a lesson though. It was a hard one. It was a hard one. Success wise, I have to tell you, anyone who directs, I don't care if you've done it once or you've done it 100 times, they're going to tell you the key is your casting. And then once you've cast them and you give them the broad picture of where you want to go with it, back off. Let them do their magic. Sometimes they're going to come to you. They need help. They're struggling getting over, a hill. I can't get to that point. Absolutely step in and help. Because I promise it's in there. You just got to help dig it out for them, find it. But once you've cast, have confidence in your cast. You've cast well, and give them their leeway. I promise you that they will come back and create a magic you couldn't even possibly have dreamt if you just get out of the way just a little bit. You become more of a guiding parent instead of the tyrant parent as a director. And that was one of the things that ended up being very, very successful. I had one of the actresses that was like, I don't know if we're there. I don't think we're there. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all are fine. You guys are amazing. I am struggling because I want to put an audience in front of you today.
Yeah.
You're so good. And then opening night, and she was like, I don't get it. Like, you have so much faith in us. You had all the faith in us. Oh, absolutely. That was the least of my worries. Yep. I think that's been one of my solid takeaways is once you've cast it, once you've put the picture, your dream, your vision or whatever into their minds and turn them loose, they're going to make it happen, but they're going to do it 10 times better than you expected.
Yeah.
That is one that I will always hold on to. And it makes a difference also when I go in and I do casting on a show. I know where to put somebody. I know what I'm going to end up being able to pull out of them. And then what they're going to end up showing me in the final production, I know is just going to blow my mind. So that has probably been one of the best things that I've learned.
Very cool. So bringing it to current,
Yeah.
does Spotlight have a home?
So we are working towards that as far as a physical structure place. We have I joke and say, well, right now our home is a storage building for all of our props and our costumes and that.
Yep.
But we will have a solid home. Right now we kind of travel around, but we'll also be doing a lot of traveling because we do dinner theater. So we can, for instance, let's say a company comes in and they want to do a Christmas party and they would like to have a dinner theater show. So they call us up and they hire us and we put on a dinner theater wherever that may be. So it may be at their facility. It may be at, we did one this past Christmas at the Artesian for the Chickasaw Nation. So we also have a traveling group that goes around as well. Someday we do want our own space and our own home. But right now we're awfully spoiled. We have access to some of the best facilities around, whether it's the Goddard Center or the PAC, the various high schools. We're very fortunate that there's a place. I think it's on our short list goals to have a true home. But right now we're pretty content in getting to travel around and going and visiting other facilities. And I think it'll also give us an idea of what we want to include and incorporate within our own space. But I still firmly think that we're still going to travel even after we have our home, and utilize some of these other spaces as well. Because my hope is that we have so many shows going on at once that we have to, because we'll have, a show going on on our little stage, and we'll have to have the Goddard Center. We'll have to have the PAC because there's just so many shows within the community that one building won't house us.
Very cool. So, what does a season look like for Spotlight Theater?
So again, because of the structure of our organization, we're a little bit unique. We don't really announce a planned set season in advance like many other theaters do. One, because it changes, and as we know with our licensing entities, it can be a little challenging. You'll plan to do a show and then you don't get approved for the license, or you've got a whole show in process and something comes up and you just have to switch and do something different on the fly. We do dinner theater, of course we do improv, we do all of these various things, so that's very hard to announce. So we have to do it a few shows at a time. And so like we have a brand new, never produced show written by a local artist, Monica Stoffla, called The Witch's Cell. And I'm beyond excited for this show. We did a read through. So Spotlight, we do frequent read throughs. That's our goal. We may not be able to produce the show, but we're going to read it as a group. We want to read it, talk about it, and see if it's a possibility. But we did this. First of all, we all know Monica and we love Monica personally, but she is just an incredibly talented woman. And she said, I have this new show and I really want you to look at it and tell me what you think. And I read it and I was like, I think we need to do a script read immediately. I think it needs to be produced as fast as humanly possible. It is absolutely amazing. We went to the read through, and we always provide, we have food and drink, and at our intermission time, we take a break, we go get food. No one wanted to stop reading to go get food. And in the theater, we all love our sniggity snacks and our foods. So to say that was pretty huge. We did not want to stop reading. So she was kind to us in allowing us to be the first to produce this show. And I cannot wait for it. It's going to be amazing. Of course, we have Christmas Carol coming up following that. We have several dinner theater shows that have been purchased from different organizations and companies. And now we're looking at our spring show. And we have a couple of show possibilities for that. We're looking at more of the junior version of shows right now for our spring. Some pretty big show names that are in the running. In fact, one of them is currently on Broadway doing very successful, but they have a junior version available that we're excited and ready to do. So we have to, the way we're structured, we kind of announce 2 shows at a time. But we also, we're trying a unique idea also in that we audition for multiple shows at once, which I know a lot of big theaters do. They'll audition for their entire season. I think that works well for the program and for the actors. You have a lot longer time to prepare, which is always good. So our announcement is usually about 2 shows at a time.
Okay. So, how do you approach? You talked a little bit about the casting. How do you approach the casting and creative opportunities for performers of all ages and experience levels?
So, I think every show that I can, in any way possible, make happen. If you have a child that shows up, boy, you're in. Come on. Christmas Carol is a prime example. That show typically, you're looking at 20 people or somewhere in that neighborhood. We had all total, we had 52 people in Christmas Carol. And I would have loved to have 58 or 68 or 78 or 98. Every child that comes, I want in that show. I want them to experience whether they have a line or they don't. I want them to have the magic of getting to dress up. I want them to start to develop to feel comfortable within the theater. So my philosophy is, and again, this is I think we'd spoken a little bit earlier about I am the big dreamer, and I have people around me that help to keep me grounded. But so far, even those that help to keep me grounded, I have the same philosophy of if they come, just make a little extra room. Just, we'll just slide down a little bit, drag out another chair. In that case, we found extra scarves and hats, and we just made it work. If you're going to come and you want to be a part of something, you're welcome, and we're going to find the space for you. And we're going to figure out a way that we're going to figure out what your niche is, and we're going to shine the spotlight on you.
That's really cool. So, looking to the future, what is your long-term vision for Spotlight, let's say over the next 5 to 10 years?
I can see Spotlight traveling and doing the dinner theater, which we love. I see our improv group. I see us doing our musicals, major musicals. I see them in the schools helping develop some of these schools that are just now starting their theater programs, especially after COVID. I see us getting in there, rolling up our sleeves and helping them to build that theater program. I see us coming into schools who may not have a theater program and offering to teach. And I see us pretty much doing it all, every hat, kind of like 39 Steps in the entry where they put on 45 hats out of a suitcase. Very, very similar. I don't see a limit. I see a lot of unique ideas, things that I couldn't have even thought of that I didn't. We have a group that we're starting a flash mobs for singing and comedy and all the different things. I had never thought of something like that, and I'm a dreamer. So I think in 5 years, who knows? But I hope that the heart and the passion, and the inclusivity, the transparency, whatever it is, I hope it's spread. I hope it spreads like wildfire to every theater, whether it's a community theater, a high school. I hope that spreads for sure.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Are there any programs or productions that you dream of adding as you grow?
Yes. So we are working on building a seniors theater program, which I love. And we have a children's theater program that we want to be able to start a year-round children's theater. There's a need for it. There's room for it. I think those are two of the things I'm most excited about as far as, outside programs besides doing our traditional shows or our traditional dinner theater is our senior program and our children's program. I can't wait. I've been dreaming about shows. I've already read shows for our seniors program, and I'm so excited. I'm like, I know I have to put a pin in it, and it's baby steps, but I'm definitely a dreamer, and I'm ready for it.
So in that mindset, if resources were not an issue, if you had unlimited resources, what's one project that you would greenlight tomorrow?
I would 100% greenlight my seniors program. Absolutely. Absolutely. The long-term philosophy is that senior program is also responsible for the children's program. They work hand in hand. I think that's also a beautiful that feel good vision, but it works. It's inspiring for both. It's comfortable. Um, I think that we don't really have a lot of senior programs around.
Mm.
And I'm approaching those years. And so as I look forward, I guess I was a little disheartened. I was like, oh, I'm going to hit that point where, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, this is what I love. And I think as an actor and actress, you don't ever age out. You shouldn't. There shouldn't be a cap. Um, and so, yeah, I want to see that. I want to see. I've watched several shows that had some seniors in it, and I have to tell you, I walked away and going, "It's the best show I think I've ever seen." One of my favorites. It's actually in Vegas. It's very hard to get licensing for it, but it's called Menopause the Musical, and
Mhm.
it is hilarious. I mean, tears streaming down your face, laughter. Your stomach hurts laughing. I mean, it's all by senior cast, and I have to tell you, it's one of the best shows. I guess it would be considered a mini musical that I've ever seen. It is hilarious. And I thought, boy, we're missing out. We are missing out. And so yeah, I want to see that tomorrow. Yesterday would be great.
What do you hope that future generations say about Spotlight when they look back on this era that you're creating?
I had one of our board members who is also a dear friend had called me up and he said, "So what's it feel like?" It's like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "What does it feel like to walk in Lil Williams' footsteps?" And like it was like a punch to the gut. This is an individual that I, I pretty much idolize for what she's done for theater in Oklahoma, and I was like, I am no Lil Williams. Okay, I would just put that out there. I am no Lil Williams. And he said, "You do realize that she created something magical and wonderful, um, and you're doing the same." I just sat there and I thought about it, and I mean, it made me tear up, and I thought, "Holy cow!" I've always said that one of the biggest fears I have is that the arts will not be there for my great grandchildren. That this theater or that theater won't be around after we've gone through COVID and all the things. It was just terrifying to me to think that it wouldn't be available. I raised my children in the theater. I mean, they slept in the couch in the green room most of their lives. I think many of us in theater, can say we've done that with our children, or maybe we were ourselves. It just terrified me to think that it wouldn't be there. But I hadn't thought about what happens. What is this that I'm doing, and what is that legacy? And there is a legacy or a potential legacy, and what are people going to say of me and who I was? And at the end of the day, when my time is done on this main stage of life, um, I want people to know that I believed in them. I was their biggest cheerleader. That I don't ever want them to sell themselves short or think that they can't do something that they want to do, that they're inspired to do. I don't want anyone to have missed out on an opportunity to check off their bucket list shows. Um, I want I want that legacy to be, if you've felt that you are something special on stage, or that you're uh, maybe the veteran actor, actress, and you're the VIP, I want you to just take a seat for a minute and look out at the audience around you and pick out 3 people that you can inspire and motivate to get up there and take your seat, to do it better, to grow it bigger, to be more inclusive, to be more inviting, and to be more real. That's what I would encourage. That's what I hope that Spotlight does, is that it shines the spotlight on the people that maybe sit in the seats dreaming about being where we are. Um, that's what I want Spotlight to do. That's my hope.
That's an awesome awesome legacy to build. So as we come to the end of our time together, uh, I have this thing, and if you've listened to the podcast, you understand that I try to wrap up every episode with what we call our curtain call curveball. So these are designed to just be light, fun way to end the conversation. Off the wall, maybe about theater, maybe not,
Perfect.
but designed to be just off the top of your head. First thing that pops into your head. Okay?
Okay.
First question. What's a role that you've never played, but you've always wanted to?
Ooh, that's a challenging. I have to say, I always wanted to do like I always wanted to be Ebenezer Scrooge, but in the female twisted version.
Mm-hmm.
I just a couple of years ago had the opportunity to do my bucket list show, which was Wicked Witch and the Wizard of Oz. So it's challenging. I had a friend of mine say the same thing. I said, if you could do any show you wanted to do, and he said, well, I got to do my bucket list role. And I said, well, pick a new bucket.
Yep.
Get another one. I think that I would. I get to watch ours, and I'm in awe of him. So I think that would be kind of fun. Also, I think The Odd Couple. I would love that. I think I would.
Yeah. What's the most theater mom thing you've ever done, even if it wasn't your kids that were involved?
Well, I have, I've definitely used the thumb, lick your thumb, smush somebody's hair down. I have reached into my purse and Patty Tate, I love you. If you're listening to this, the red lipstick that I now carry, thanks to Patty Tate, I've applied red lipstick on a child and said, I can't see your face. We got to put your red lipstick on. I've taken off my socks and given to an actor because theirs were wet. I think I have several mom moments. I tend to be the theater mom anyway. So yeah.
Awesome. We all need them. What's a line from a play that lives rent free in your head?
Oh boy. A line from a play. Oh wow, that's a tough one. It's like a million
Exactly.
are just
Every script
rolling
comes up
through.
all of a
Yes.
sudden. Yeah.
Yes. It's not. I don't know that I could say it. But oh, I'd say that I had a couple from August Osage County. Unfortunately, you can't say them for most airways. But
FBC doesn't regulate this, so go ahead.
There's the last line, and it wasn't mine, in the show, when she says something along the lines of, gosh, I got to remember what that is. That's awful. Yeah. It's just gone. Yeah.
Poof.
Yeah. Just gone. Thank you,
But
menopause.
at least you have an idea. It's going to come to you after.
Yes,
after
it
the show.
is.
Yeah. But yeah, it happens all the time. So if you could invite any playwright, living or dead, to workshop with Spotlight, who's coming to Oklahoma?
Ooh, a playwright. Tennessee Williams. 100%. Yeah, I've got to sit in his hotel room in New Orleans, where he finished up A Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, there you go. What's the most chaotic thing you've ever seen happen backstage without naming names?
Okay. Those are the best. Okay, those are the best. We did a show where we had to do some quick changes, very, very quick changes in the back. And we had assigned dressers that were supposed to help us. And I don't know where they were, but we came off the stage and there was myself as a female and a male, and they were gone. And so the next scene, I managed to get my swing skirt on, and I'm supposed to come behind a scrim and dance. So there's you can't see us, but you see our shadow. And I'm supposed to dance. And I had to come out, and I just have a bra on and my skirt, and we're dancing in the background. The audience had no idea we didn't make the mark. And here comes my changer, and boy, he had to come out there and dance. And there was a couple of opportunities where the lights came off really quick, and for a couple of seconds, and then came back on. And so he's dressing me in between those little tiny blackouts. Oh. The audience had no idea, and then boom, I come out on stage, and I'm completely dressed. I think that was wonderful. We've had definitely. It always seems to be costumes. It always seems to be costumes.
Oh, yeah,
every time. We've had one where we had to switch, undress and get into pajamas and come back out on stage very quickly for a scene. And my scene partner never made it into his pajamas. But so he just gave up. And so he would wear funny, hilarious boxers, and under his pants every night. So that he's covered, but it's funny. And the audience just assumed that's the way it was supposed to be, but we just gave up fighting. There was just no way. Those are always the funny things, I think. But it's always the costumes.
Yep.
It's always the costumes.
So in a parallel universe where you have never discovered theater, what wildly different career do you end up in?
Oh, wow. Wildly different. I honestly, probably therapy. I would probably be a therapist. I don't know that side of me would ever change, of wanting to encourage people, wanting to see them in their best, living their best lives, fulfilling their dreams. And I don't see myself changing much in that way. So probably therapy. And I think there's a little of that in theater.
Oh, theater is definitely therapy.
Yes. And if not, maybe some of us need it. For sure.
Absolutely. There's that. What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever bought on impulse? And do you secretly love it?
Yes. The wildest thing that I own. 2 cats. Oh, well, yeah. No, the weirdest, unique thing that I own is I have one of the Minion fart guns. And you would be surprised. It will get someone's attention also. So as you're directing and the cast gets a little out of hand, of course, I am still ornery. I'm still funny. I don't take very much super seriously. And if I do, not for very long. So I'm the director that will show up with the Minion fart gun and be like, all right, guys, time to focus. And that was a weird one, but probably one of the best purchases I think I've ever made.
Okay. If you could grab one snack from any decade, past or future, what are you bringing back?
Singers.
Singers are awesome.
They were awesome. And they're still good.
But the singers they have now are different.
They are different. Different. I don't know. It just does.
Yeah.
Those things were amazing. Oh, and I finally remembered. I actually, as I'm sitting here trying to think of the line, the one that keeps replaying isn't actually from August Osage County.
Okay.
It's from The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
There's no place like home. And I think for me, Spotlight is home. So it keeps running in the back of my mind. Like that's the whole point of all of it, is it's family and it's home.
And that's a great way to bring it all to a close. One last question. If your younger self could see you now, what would she be most proud of?
I think she would be most proud of the fact that I stepped out and did it, in the creation of Spotlight. The fear, not letting fear keep me from doing it, of throwing open the doors and demanding, chest out, that everybody everybody is serving as a spotlight. I think younger me would have been in awe of that. I think younger me would have said, I didn't know she had the badassery in her to do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Angel, thank you for your time. Thank you for welcoming us into your home
I'm glad you came.
to be a part of this. This has been wonderful, hearing your story and being able to share your story with everybody that listens. So thank you.
Thank
And we
you.
wish you all the best and all the broken legs and all of that. So
Thank you. This has been absolutely a pleasure.
good.
Thank you.
I'm glad. For everybody else listening, whether you're in your drive, whether you're at home, in the office, whatever it is, thank you as well for giving us a little bit of your time into the world that you live in. We thank you for all of your support. We thank you for what you're doing. If you want to find out more about us, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of the channels for podcasting. You can also follow us on our website, oklahomaonstage.org. If you want to send us any comments or questions, you can reach us at oklahomaonstage@gmail.com. Again, we thank you all for all of your support and all of your following. But as we always say, no matter what, continue to support the arts.